Hi everyone, Engineer Liu here. So in this tutorial I would like to talk about how we can create our own libraries in the C programming language. And for that, as an example, I will show you how we can implement a support for Boolean types in C and how we work with them. So that will be our example usage of our own libraries, right? So yeah, let's get started. So first things first, I created two functions here, as you can see. One which will be bool.c, and our main, which will have our library implementation, and main.c, which will contain our main function, right? And also we have to create a bool.h. So if you remember from all videos that I have been doing on the C programming tutorials, we have to include our header files in which they contain the prototypes for the functions, and I will get to that in a minute. So yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, let's begin by bool.h. So the first thing we have to do is use what is called a preprocessor directive, so to avoid double imports and such. So the first preprocessor directive that we're going to use is if not def, we call bool h, and then add if. Okay, so if not defined, if this macro is not defined, then we can, if this is not defined, then we can define it as such. Okay, so one would be then equivalent to true. So yeah, basically here it's where we will implement our main functions regarding our Boolean library. So the first thing that we could do is define a macro for true and false. In C, 0 corresponds to false and true, and 1 corresponds to true. So we can do that. So define true 1 and define false 0. Okay, so instead of writing 1 and 0 for true and false, we can simply write true and false, which is much more straightforward. And then I would like to define a new data type for true. So this is a bit tricky because, you know, true and false correspond to only, you have a range of from 0 to 1. So there's that. So here basically we should have some sort of constructor like in object-oriented programming, but since we're doing procedural programming, we can't have that. So which in the constructor we could validate if this is a valid boolean, but we can write a function for that. So yeah, so let's define our boolean value. So type def, let's create a short unsigned short int, which we'll call bool. Okay, and then with this variable bool, we can assign it true or false. Okay, so let's create a function that could validate if there's a valid bool. Check is valid bool, like so, and then it takes a bool as an argument, bool arg, like so. So a prototype in C is simply, you have the function signature, which here it will be a bool, right? It returns a bool value and it takes a bool argument. Okay, a boolean type and a bool argument. Actually here we could use boolean like so, but because C already has a standard library for bool, so that can give us a confusion. So we use a boolean instead of bool here. So then we can compare both variables after. So yeah, we can check if it's a valid bool, like if it is 0 or 1. And what else we could do? We can write a boolean XOR like so, and then take a boolean arg1 and a boolean arg2, and then so an XOR, it's basically you have A and B, which are boolean. So it's A and B true, or A and B false, but not sorry. It's XOR is a special operator in logic, which stands for A or B, but not both. Okay, so it is valid if A is true and B is false, and B is true and A is false, but not if both are true and if both are false. Okay, so it's a little bit different than OR. It's called the exclusive OR. So it's OR without the returning true for both true. Okay, so yeah, it's that type of boolean arithmetic. And yeah, I guess we're good to go. We have two functions that we have to implement. We have their interfaces, and yeah, let's write and quit. Now we have to implement our bool.c, and then we include here our bool.h, and yeah, I completely forgot to copy this right here because we're gonna need it. Bool.h, and yeah, then we can define our own functions. We have to implement them. So here if arg is different than true, or arg is different than false, we return false. Okay, else return true. Okay, and here if arg1 and if arg1 is true and arg2 is false, we return true. Else if arg1 is false and arg2 is true, we return true as well. Here we could group this in one check, but it will get a little bit lengthy for a line, so let's leave it like that. So else, and then we return false. Okay, return false, and yeah, we are good to go. So now we have to implement our test it on function main. So include standard IO. We include our library that we wrote, bool.h, and then our main function int argc char star argv, which are the command line arguments, right? remember from the last lecture. And we create a boolean x which will be equal to true, and a boolean y which will be equal to false, and a boolean z will be equal to true. Okay, and also let's create another boolean w equal to, I don't know, 3. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? But we could do nevertheless. So check for valid I kind of forgot what was the name of the function. It is valid bool. Okay, so sorry about that. Print, it'll be a short, so it is it's unsigned. Yeah, let's just print. It will gives us true or false, so it will be 0, either 0 or 1. So it's valid bool a x. Let's copy this. Okay, let's do that for each one. X, Y, Z, and W. And now to compile, by this point it's interesting we use a Makefile, so I will not get into too much deeper about Makefiles, but basically it's very right cumbersome commands such as the way we have been doing, and you simply run make and then it runs everything for you. So yeah, so let's edit our Makefile. Basically it would be a very simple Makefile. We will just run gcc with all warnings, and then to generate the binaries for we run bool.c and main.c, and then afterwards we link a bool.o and main.o as main. I think that's correct. So make missing separator get all. So yeah, so make cannot find main. Guess here the flag yeah, so it works. So let me explain real quickly. So here there's this Makefile works in a sort of a set of rules, right? So all it will be simply running make, but you can set specific rules, like for example a clean rule, like for example if you want to delete all the binaries generated, so it will be remove rf. Be careful with this command. So all files ending with .o, which will be bool.o and main.o, and also we can remove the binary to clean. So yeah, we got all these files here, so we can run make clean, and voila, they are deleted. And we can run make again, and they are here again. So yeah, so let's try running this finally, so see what happens. And we got 0, which means false, I guess. So yeah, let me check. Main.c. Okay, so is valid bool So they are false basically, which shouldn't have happened. Let's check our implementation. So if arg is different than true, or arg is different than false, it should return false, right? Which is 0 from our macro. Else it should return true. Yeah, so we should take a look on bool.h. We define true as 1 and false as 0. And then we have our type unsigned shard int. I guess this short might be an issue, so we could try something like uint 8t variable for boolean. So let me try with that. Make non-type. Yeah, I think we forgot to. So let's just leave it unsigned. Uint 8. The import that we will need is standard int. So include standard int.h. Yeah, so it works. So let's try again. And still 0. I think printf short int. I think we should use, I think the pre-issue is with printf, so let's try it out. Here it's hu. Okay, so it's for short, right? And yeah, make and run. Still 0. So boolean x equals true. First things first, let's print these values first to see if there's anything weird going on. Hu and then x, y, z, and then w, I guess. Let's make, and then run, and yeah, it's outputting false. Their assignments are correct, and check main.c is valid bool. X, Y, and Z, and W. It's correct. Bool.c. If arg is different than true, or arg is different than false, returns false, else return true. What could be wrong here? Let's do something. Let's print value itself. Like so. As you can see, printf is the best tool for debugging, and yeah, it's pretty much the standard. And yeah, we should include standard IO here. Yeah. So their arg is correct, but for some reason it's returning false. So either there's true or false. He always returns false. It's weird. Always returns 0. No, it shouldn't be here. If this is only if it's different than true or false. Something really going on here. Let me try this. So only if they're different, or arg is different than. Okay, now I see the problem. It must be an E here, an AND operator. So yeah, that should work. So yeah, that was the problem. It was a problem of logic, not any other thing. So yeah, so now we got ourselves so X is a valid bool, Y is a valid bool, Z is a valid boolean, but W no. So we obtain a 0, right? So we are almost at 30 minutes. I guess we could implement this, check this XOR, and so yeah, let's check for it. Let's check XOR. Instead of valid bool, let's check printf XOR X and Y. So it's exclusive OR, so it will be X or Y true, but not both. Okay, so we expect here to be true because X is true and Y is false. So yeah, X or X and Y. And let's try one which returns false, which will be X and Z. So they're both true, so that should return false. X and Z. And also we could try with another one boolean, let's say X, Y, and Z, U. False, then we check for U and Y, so it should also return false, right? U, Y, and U. Like so. Now we simply run make and run main. So okay, so X and Y, they're both different and true and false, so it returns true. X and Z, so X is Y is true and Z is true, so it's false. Y is false, and we didn't print U, but it's false, so we return false. So it's X or it's A or B, but not both. Okay, so it's working properly. One validation that we could do on the main on our validation function, on our XOR function, is if is valid bool, and we check for arg1 and handle the exception with case, which will be throw an error. An error occurred and yeah, we exit the program, and we could do this with the other arg2 printf. So we also abort the program, and yeah, so let's try to pass let's try to pass an invalid here, like W, which is 3, so it should throw an exception. So make so it needs standard library here. Let's go to bool. So we need standard library to use exit. And we make and we run. Yeah, so we got an error as expected because W is 3, so it's not a valid bool, so it's not valid to make an XOR operation. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be uploading to my GitHub, and where you can have access to all source code, and I'll be posting the link in the comments so you can check it out. So it's pretty much the same as we did on this video. So hope you guys liked, and subscribe to my channel, activate notifications if you haven't already, and see you next time. Bye.